Carolina taking on Arkansas, and the opening tip is controlled by the #1 team in the country.
We'll expect some man-to-man on both ends of the floor today, but as we've become used to, a sagging man-to-man against these Gamecocks.
Zia Cooke finds Aliyah Boston outside the first point with the mid-range jumper. Starting 5 for Arkansas. Sailor Poffenbarger is their leading rebounder. Samara Spencer, top 10 in the SEC in scoring and assists. Michaela Daniels, top 5 in the SEC in three-point shooting. They love the three. They are good from outside the arc, and Chrissy Carr knocks down her 48th three-pointer of the season. Familiar starting 5 now for South Carolina. Zia Cooke leading the team in scoring. Boston in the last 5 averaging 16 points, 11 rebounds, and shooting 69% from the field. Bree Beal now back into Boston, and Cook's got an open look for 3. 36% from outside the arc for Zia Cooke. She's made 36 threes now on the season.
And Arkansas wants to bring the bigs of South Carolina away from the basket. Mike Neighbors said our bigs have to make anywhere from 4 to 5 threes for us to have a chance.
Well, you saw Erin Barnum, who's having an outstanding season, one of the most improved players in the SEC, try it from outside. Here's Saxton trying to drive on Poffenbarger. Good strong drop, just won't drop, but there is Boston on the glass. #1 in the AP poll for a 30th straight week. That's tied for 4th best all time with UConn for longest streaks in the history of the AP poll.
I feel like I should give my public service announcement because I said to Don today, I said, it looks like your team is more connected on both ends of the floor.
You can tell that is a key thing for her, how this team is coming together. And they've been good from the start of the season. We saw what happened against Stanford and Maryland, playing some tough non-conference games, but they continue to build and get better and be more connected. That's Barnum on the drive. Count it and 1. Erin Barnum a chance for a three-point play.
You spread the floor and let Erin Barnum get to the rim. There draws the foul.
Barnum's doubled her numbers better than that after playing in front of a packed house on Thursday, trying to pull the upset, taking on the #3 team in the country and the #1 team in the country on the road in back-to-back games. That is a lot to ask of this Arkansas team. Here's Saxton, good moving. Great 1-2 punch in the backcourt here for Arkansas with Spencer and Daniels, and it's Barnum challenging Boston.
And Eric, the thing that sticks out to me in that graphic is the rebound margin. I'm not saying they have to win.
Barnum 1 of 2 here in Columbia for the home team. Cooke with the kick. Kiara Fletcher couldn't get it, and Barnum with the save for Arkansas.
And what I loved about that is Barnum boxed Aliyah Boston out first, then went after that rebound.
Chrissy Carr has unlimited range and showing it in the early going. Knocked down 3 threes against LSU. Cooke on the pull-up. That's where she is so...
Play the on-ball screen that way because if Zia Cooke can get down here and get 2 feet in the paint, as you said, Eric, that is when she's at her best.
Barnum off the mark. Fed in deep, Boston, not once, but there's always a second chance. 4 straight double-doubles for Boston, and she is trending towards another one right now. Finished up the three-point play. Good strong take. That is Samara Spencer, freshman of the year in the SEC last year. There's been nothing close to a sophomore slump this year, averaging 15 points a game. Saxton has it stripped away.
And I think the benches for both these teams are going to be huge. We know South Carolina comes in averaging 40 points on the bench each game, but the bench for Arkansas has got to give them some quality minutes.
Marion Dowda was in the game for a matter of seconds before she pulled from deep and it almost dropped.
I think Dowda's starting to come into her own.
Raven Johnson into the game. Daniels can't knock down the 3, and Saxton's got a rebound. We welcome those of you who watch Memphis knock off Cincinnati. We're in Columbia, South Carolina. We're the #1 team in the country. The South Carolina Gamecocks have an early 5-point lead over the Arkansas Razorbacks. Eric Freed, Christy Thomas-Scuddy, and our crew here at Colonial Life Arena in front of a loud full house to watch South Carolina take on Michaela Daniels in Arkansas. Daniels, the hero for Arkansas on Monday with their buzzer beater a few steps inside a half court to knock off Vanderbilt. She brings Arkansas within 2 here in the first quarter. Victoria Saxton will try it from outside. That won't drop, but this is where South Carolina has a big advantage because they're big. Camila Cardozo at 6'7" gets another second chance opportunity to go for South Carolina.
Eric, yes, they're big, but what I've already seen a couple of times by Arkansas is they're trying to be big. And what I mean by that is a shot goes up, they're walling up, and they're staying vertical versus boxing out. They've got to keep South Carolina off, and maybe you even go chest to chest to keep them from getting the offensive rebound.
That's Zia Cooke, who drops it inside to Cardoso, got tied up by Chrissy Carr.
South Carolina has 4 of the top 10 shot blockers in the SEC. That's how good they are in terms of protecting that rim.
At the free throw line. Foul on Riley Langerman. South Carolina 68%, that's 8th in the conference. Arkansas 65%, 12th in the conference. But if you're going to miss and then end up still getting 2, as that's how it worked out for South Carolina. If you are just joining us, Arkansas played a thriller on Monday against Vandy, game that was won at the buzzer by Michaela Daniels. Then they went to LSU and took LSU to the limit. They were the first team to have a lead on the Tigers this season in the fourth quarter.
But I do like the silver lining that he looked at. He said, hey, in terms of prep, LSU and South Carolina are so similar. Nothing else matters in this game if we can't limit South Carolina on the glass.
6 points early for Aaron Barnum. Ami here. Looking inside for Cardoso. Ooh, Ami here will earn a trip to the free throw line. Give you an idea how balanced the scoring is. She's tied for 4th in scoring off the bench at 7 points a game. This is a South Carolina team that averages better than 82 points a game. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in the win against Vanderbilt on Thursday. Give you an idea what Christie was talking about. And well-balanced player. Spencer gets it back from Barnum. Spencer now with Johnson on the swish. Entry pass, Barnum, defended by Cook. Wolfenbarger, shot clock to 2-1, and Wolfenbarger had to pull the trigger, and Cardoso's got it. Johnson to Cook, to Ami here, foul by Langerman. That's 2 personal fouls on Riley Langerman as Ami here steps back to the free throw line. Taking on a Kansas team that is all of a sudden reeling just a little bit after a couple of losses. Spencer back out to Barnum. Got Cardoso in the air, but look at Cardoso recover. And then the ball is off a foot and out of bounds, and it will be South Carolina basketball, 2.5 to go. The long arm of Cardoso reaching out, and that will do it for Zia Cooke and South Carolina. As South Carolina on top, handling life, and just saw as she was not becoming the Estelle Dawn knew, but someone that Dawn still loved and had to care for, because that person is in there, and that is the hardest thing about memory care. And those who are taking care of those, dementia, Alzheimer's, changes what happens.
I mean, it's just a different dynamic when that occurs. And we asked Dawn what's the best advice you could give to support a caregiver, and she said, give it your time. They just need that break, even if it's an hour. And so for all of us that have the time and ability, let's support the caregivers, because they definitely need it, as does the Pat Summitt Foundation.
And Dawn realized, too, that she couldn't be the primary caregiver for her mother as Johnson hits. Miss Rosemary stepped in. 10-point lead for Staley's team. Aliyah Boston in the game, defending Barnum. Here's Carr, knocked down a couple of threes in the first. Carr with a beautiful drive, but it won't drop. Johnson threads the needle to Beal, who is fouled. Bree Beal stepping to the strike.
Well, Eric, the first quarter, South Carolina shot 33% on their first shot opportunity. On their second and third, up to 67%. That's what I mean. The first shot's not going to kill you against the Gamecocks. It is that second and third. Arkansas's got to find a way to limit the offensive rebounds by South Carolina.
And they got to make shots on the other end. That won't drop for Carr. That's 11 straight misses. And here comes a Meeher with speed. A Meeher all the way to the basket for two.
Eric, this is a subtle thing for South Carolina. When we talk about their defense, it's not the shot blocks. To me, it's their one-on-one containment. Dribble drive offense for Arkansas. They can't consistently get a step on their defender, which is why they're struggling to create. Well, except for Aaron Barnum on that possession.
She took it right at Aliyah Boston. So a strong play by Barnum to slow down the momentum for the moment for South Carolina. Boston ducks inside for two. Beal defending Daniels. Daniels tries to use her speed. Shot clock down to 1. And the officials are going to count it, but they will go to the monitor. Feet. 2 on the shot clock. 1 step back. That's a clean 3, but is it still in her hand?
I thought it was still in her hand.
I thought so too. They'll check it during the media timeout. Saxton. You can see how Arkansas will drop back with Saylor Poffenbarger. And a foul called on Arkansas on the drive. Went for a team-high 17 against Vandy on Thursday in Nashville. 6 of 12 from the field. She's got 10 first-half points. Spencer got half a step. Fletcher, who's a sneaky good defender, trying to show off a little offense here, and she'll go to the free throw line. And this is not the birthday present that Arkansas was looking for. They have 3 points fewer than they did before we went to break because they did go to the monitor. The shot was after the shot clock, so take the 3 for Poffenbarger off the board.
You see it there, 24-5, and it's the 11 second chance points for South Carolina. That's the difference, or part of the difference in this game so far.
You know, Drea was talking about Zia Cooke defensively. That's something we were talking about during the break as Carr can't hit.
So for a dribble drive offense to work, which is what Arkansas is running, you've got to get a step on your defender, and that's the thing. Minus Spencer, no one else has really been able to consistently get a step on their defender.
Talked about it before. Aliyah Boston, last 5 games, shooting 69% from the field. She's at 80% so far from the floor in this game. There's Cooke trying to knock away from Daniels. You can tell when Arkansas gets close, you're just assuming there's going to be a shot blocker nearby, and maybe they just get it up on the rim a little quicker than they want to. Bree Beal for 3. Carr, deep 3. Won't drop, and Beal's got it. Inside of 4 to go before halftime. Beal on the drive, ran into a wall, and they say it's last touched by Arkansas.
South Carolina is out and running. Bree Beal spotting up to knock it down.
South Carolina now 3 for 4 from outside the three-point line. They came into the game at 31% as Beal will check out. Bree Hall into the game for South Carolina. Cooke on the baseline, out of bounds play. Stays perfect.
South Carolina, just beautiful execution.
Cardoso with the steal. Off to Cooke. Cooke, wild shot, and it almost dropped. Cooke at the free throw line. The fact that she is leading the team in scoring, we've seen it time and again, Christian. So that has opened things up for Zia Cooke, and she has delivered. 15 unanswered points. Spencer gets it to drop and ends the run. She's got 4 points, averaging better than 15 a game. Langerman back on the floor with the 2 personals. Defending Cooke. Zia Cooke. It almost looked like she thought about it for a split second, and then she reminded herself, I'm Zia Cooke. 3 double-doubles this year, leading the team in rebounding. Cardoso and Hall were standing there as Spencer put it up, and the ball came down in play. Cooke rejected by Jersey Wolfenbarger. So some good defensive plays for Arkansas. Johnson returns it to Boston. Another good job by Arkansas defensively, but Too many options for South Carolina. Dowda and one. Johnson with the first personal foul. Second quarter scoring. Arkansas 3 of 14. No reset of the shot clock. They said it did not catch rim. So Amihir takes it to the basket. No. Guess what? Cardoso. No. Cooke is now fighting inside. Yes. Shot clock is off. Amihir defending Spencer. Spencer back out top. Dowda tries for three. Nope. And that will be how the half comes to an end. Original starting fives out there for each team. 8th time this year that Carolina has led by at least 25 at halftime. Beal. The floater won't drop. There's Victoria Sexton looking for the putback.
In the first half, South Carolina shot 44% from the field, which is good on first shots. But it was the second and third where they shot 55%.
Foul on Poffenbarger. All right, if you're Arkansas, Christie, you're facing a big deficit on the road, number 1 team in the country. You're coming off 2 emotional games. I don't think you can understate that, what happened this week, the win over Vanderbilt and then the game at LSU. What's the game plan? What's the message from Mike Neighbors to his team as they come out on the floor here?
I think we're not playing the scoreboard whatsoever. This is a reset, and I would have reminded them of what the goal is. This is an Arkansas program that's never finished in the top 4 in the SEC. We are building for the rest of the season. So let's just look to execute, and more importantly, let's try to limit South Carolina to 1 shot.
Daniels, Barnum will try for 3. That won't go. They're playing South Carolina here today. They have played the hardest part of their schedule in the first half of the season. This is a team that you should certainly consider, and you think they can be one of those top 4 teams.
Absolutely. I mean, they'll have Tennessee at home. They'll go to Mississippi State, but I think it's a very doable goal for Arkansas. Again, there's a lot of factors not in their control, but the biggest thing right now is that I want to see them get aggressive offensively. A big part of Arkansas's offense, get to the rim and finish.
Boston can't get it on the drive, can't get the follow. Third time is the charm. And Aliyah Boston, they've just posted it, a 10th rebound. So Aliyah Boston is now number 1 on the all-time double-doubles list at South Carolina. But at South Carolina, they don't wait around to make an announcement or anything. They keep going. 73 double-doubles and counting for Aliyah Boston, and Zia Cooke gets called for the foul. Shared the record for a brief time with Aliyah Boston. Daniels off the mark. There is Sheila.
That's pride.
It's okay to be number 2 to Aliyah Boston. Cooke. Another good take by Zia Cooke, certainly as of late, as Tennessee has stretched a winning streak to 8 to be one of 3 teams that are 7-0 in the SEC, along with South Carolina and LSU.
Where you mentioned Tennessee's tough non-conference schedule. That's why I feel like they're hitting their stride now. They've learned so many valuable lessons, and it's why South Carolina is always ready for March, because of their really difficult schedule.
They have 23 offensive rebounds. Arkansas has 1. Boston on the defensive glass. I think a familiar scene is playing out for Dawn Staley in South Carolina. A beautiful find there as Fletcher with UConn February 5th, LSU here on February 12th. That's a game that's been circled on the calendar, everyone's calendar, for a while now. Last March.
Well, Eric, we talked a lot about the depth of South Carolina. It's the versatility of players, and Dawn Staley calls it a luxury. I call it a huge margin of error. And when you talk about getting ready to play a UConn, a Tennessee, an LSU, well, that margin of error shrinks some. And so that's why she's consistently looking at the combinations. Now it's a matter of just kind of honing all that in.
Staying healthy. We've seen so many teams fielding 7. UConn is going through that right now, as we just talked about. as Cardoso comes through at the free throw line. Sasha Goforth, fourth this season, who's redshirting this season, who was a fixture in the starting lineup a year ago. Everybody, it seems, has been hit by injuries in South Carolina, hoping that it's the case that they can be one of those teams that avoids it as Spencer knocks it down for three. Johnson finds Cardoso, the big on the run. I got two things to point out here. We're going to talk the shoes and the shirts because Dawn, well, you know, Dawn's got the great shoes. She also wants to make sure she knows who the officials are. That's what's taped on the floor. Let your eyes.
Let me stop you. I had to tell Eric to open his mind. I had to tap into his artsy side.
Right. You know, Pat's famous eyes. There you see Chloe, who joined South Carolina as an early enrollee December 13th after graduating from high school early. We like to look at it as like an internship. This is about the best internship you can get if you're Chloe Kitts. As South Carolina continues to add to their lead. Final minute. Picked up by Fagan.
And this is just where you just see the cut's not as sharp or as quick, and so the spacing's not there. And that's why Barnum turned the ball over. Too much help side defense there. She tried to penetrate.
Shot clock and game clock just about synced up, so South Carolina will hold for a final shot. Johnson, who just got that last bucket for the Gamecocks, feeds it to Cardoso, picked up by Kitts. Still time here as Fagan doesn't matter who's on the floor. You can be speechless. It's okay. I mean, you get paid the same.
Well, I mean, part of it is absolutely the athleticism and height of South Carolina. I do think this looks like a fatigued Arkansas team here this afternoon as well.
Here's Carr. First possession of the fourth quarter. Carr tries for three. Can't get it. Cardoso's got the rebound. Played 8 minutes in 2 games, but you can really tell her confidence continues to grow. And me here won't get it. Cardoso, guess what? Rebounds on the offensive glass. Playing tomorrow on the SEC Network. You'll get a chance to see Angel Reese. Take a look at the standings with LSU, South Carolina, Tennessee in a tight one in the fourth quarter with Missouri. Alabama 4-2 in the conference. Dowda travel.
If I had 15 rebounds at this point in the game, I'd be solid
if
too.
you had 10 and 15 in back-to-back games, you wouldn't stop smiling. Fagan tried the spin. Bree Hall.
He thought there was a travel there. One official was about to call it, but the other official had the foul first.
Bree Hall at the free throw line for South Carolina. Games in the non-conference schedule. That game against Stanford, she had 12 points in 22 minutes, a couple of threes in the overtime period. I think that's one of the things that has really helped with South Carolina. To your point, they've got the depth, they've got the talented depth, but you can look at just about every box score and point out when somebody made a winning contribution who you wouldn't expect to when you take a look at who their starting five is or their main rotational pieces. But that rotation's pretty big for South Carolina this year. There's Cardoso back to the line.
Even for a coach, you need those reps in games to figure that out, and that's why, like, honestly, I kind of was like shocked and scared the margin of victory that they've had.
Daniel steps back for three.
It's somewhat unfortunate that she's in the same class as Zia Cooke and Aliyah Boston, because this young lady has started every game she's played in, and she's just been a solid call. I almost call her grandma because it just seems like she's been out there forever.
That's a term of endearment,
yes.
Michaela. Pulls for another three. That won't go, and now Zia Fagan wants to show her handle. Fagan showing her handle. Couldn't get it to drop. Now back the other way. Barnum shows her handle. Dowda for two, as they have been all season long. Second in Division I in rebounding margin.
We could see upwards of 60 to 73s being shot in that game.
Have a couple of days just to find the reset button here after.
Then the low of being so close to upsetting LSU on their home floor.
Barnum on the spin and the finish. A chance for a three-point play for Aaron Barnum. Barnum leading the way with the 16 points a game. And we talked about them playing LSU twice. what did you see for Arkansas, their improvement? And she'll feed it down low to Fagan. As you know, Christy, as someone who is an enormous fan of Pat Summitt, that intensity, that drive, that desire to be the best and win championships. You didn't have to be a Tennessee fan to be impacted by that, or a Tennessee player, or someone on the staff to be impacted by that. You could always see it. Good drive and take by Watkins.
Well, I always say where we are in this day and age with the state of all women's athletics, we owe to Pat. She was fighting for what she believed could be, and we're seeing it here today way before everyone else. So always we back Pat.
Ellis from the outside can't get it. Ashlyn Watkins is playing with just one shoe right now, so it's shorthanded South Carolina. 4-on-5 as Watkins comes back. There she is trying to get the shoe back on, and doesn't matter. Fagan finishes.
Short-handed, short-footed. Which one there?
Short-shoed?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. Ooh, Watkins behind the back while on the floor. She gets tangled up. Hall on the run, no. Fagan rips down another offensive rebound. The rebounding margin continues to grow. Taking on Iowa. That'll be a good one to track tomorrow. Some great games coming up this week as Watkins tried to get it up top, sticks with it. You want to give me a number?
I think it's going to be in the 80s.
I think you're right. Ooh, Samara Spencer. How about that? Spencer leading the way with 13 points for Arkansas. And Fagan got tangled up with Wolfenbarger. They play on. Spencer. LSU will take on Alabama tomorrow night. See if they can keep pace atop the SEC standings. A me here on the turnaround is short. Batted back out for a me here. And another rebound, an offensive rebound for South Carolina. They are a plus 56 in rebound margin. They have 73 total rebounds today.
Eric, in 4 years of college ball, I don't think I had 73 rebounds.
A me here, strong drive to the basket for two. Kids got tangled up. Langerman will launch a three. That won't drop in, and one final rebound for South Carolina here today.